National Metal Industries, a family-owned business for 70-plus years, has grown. This is the Gatekeepers Podcast with Billy Grove and Corey Gentry. Billy and Corey are innovative leaders in the industry and love teaching others how to build quality fence. So sit down, grab a cold beverage, and get ready to talk about fence. Today's show is sponsored by Mr. Fence Academy. If you're looking to hit the next level in your fence company, check out Mr. Fence Academy. Real fencers, real job sites, real training equals real results. And now, live from the Mr. Fence Academy studios, here's your host, Billy Grove, and co-host Corey Gentry.
What is going on, everybody? What's going on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Fence Fam? How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, buddy? That was kind of a struggle there, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you sticking that through, because that was definitely starting to get frustrating. But we got to figure it out, though.
Yeah, but real quick, guys, quick thanks to our sponsors. Thank you, Mr. Fence Academy. Thank you, National Metal Industries. And thank you, the Fence and Deck Agency.
Absolutely. Hey, and on NMI, thank you guys for the box of goodies y'all sent. That does not go unnoticed. That's in there in the office. I'm sorry, it's been a crazy week. We've been getting our butts kicked. But yeah, thank you for that box y'all sent us. That was an awesome... That was great. A lot of goodies in there. We'll have to go over that all in the next episode for sure. Break that box down.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Well, how was your 4th of July?
Man, 4th of July was actually pretty chilled. We had the kid. We had all the boys here, and we just stopped and got some fireworks on the way home, and not much. And we lit off some fireworks in the front yard, let the kids have some fun, and made some stuff go boom. And man, that was about it. I worked. I did. Now on 4th of July, I did work half the day. I ended up hanging that big vinyl gate. It was a massive vinyl gate, man. That 8-2 split, that tan vinyl. And oh man, that thing was a beast and a half. I tell you, that one was for the record books. That was a big one.
I hear you. How
was yours?
We went to Darien, Georgia, or like 20 minutes south of north of Brunswick. For all of those people who don't know where Darien is, because I know the first time I heard it, I was like, what? But we went to Georgia and went to my wife's parents' house, and we shot some guns. We didn't do any fireworks because there's just too many trees where they live. But shot some guns, caught a bunch of largemouth bass.
Heck yeah. I saw your pictures on Facebook, man. Silas whooped you at first, didn't he?
Silas whooped me the first day. I whooped him the second day. He didn't get the damn thing the second day. So we're kind of even. But yeah, man, we had fun and all that, man. But didn't you go see Bert Kreischer last weekend?
That was a weekend. Yeah, I guess we would have talked about it last week on the show. It was Sunday, and yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. We my wife, her friend from work, got a bunch of tickets to his last show of his tour, and he ended it in Orange Beach at the wharf. And so it was an outside event, and he had a whole bunch of different comedians that helped open up for him, and it was a good time. It was definitely adult humor, 100%. But it was a lot of fun. It was definitely also funny hearing all the comedians bitch about how hot it was and stuff like that. And it was so funny. Everybody sitting in the stands was like, damn, it actually feels kind of good right now. What the hell are you talking about?
All right, the sun's going down, the breeze is picking up off the wharf out there. It should have been a pretty decent night.
It was comfortable, man. It was honestly, I mean, there was some people who were, not enjoying it, as far as weather, the heat wise, but because it just got done raining, you know what I mean? But I mean, like for people like you and I, and it wasn't bad. I was comfortable.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, man. Well, we have Mr. Luke Gibson, or as his Facebook calls him, L.A. Gibson.
Mr. L.A. Gibson.
Oh, and my tonight from Farm Fence Solutions. Good Lord, I'm dyslexic as hell tonight. Farm Fence Solutions. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring our guest on. There we go. How we doing, Mr. Luke?
Pretty good. How you guys doing this evening?
Good, man. Good, man. Really good. Long day. Got rained on at the end of it, but it was hot, so it felt good.
Yeah, it's been a scorcher here.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah. Where? What's it been out there where you guys are at?
Yeah, I talked to my wife just a little bit ago. At home, it's been cool and raining all day. But I'm down at the wire factory in Bowling Green today.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, right on.
Yeah, so it was 90 and humid and rained 17 times. Yeah.
I think we were in the same place.
I think it rained like 8 or 9 times on us today.
Yeah, it's that hurricane coming through. None of the rains were big, but it was enough to get wet.
I forgot about that. But all right. Well, hey, man, how was your 4th of July?
Yeah, it was good. We're pretty low key. I do usually holidays and weekends kind of good time to do some prototype stuff in the shop. So I built a few things. And
well, what'd you get into, man? Was anything fun? Anything interesting?
Testing some left-hand auger flighting. One of the machines that we build has the auger drive is mounted on the opposite side, so that a right-hand bit kind of torques it the wrong direction out of the mast, and the left-hand bit will torque it into. So,
okay,
just been prototyping some bits for that.
What you're saying is your auger is kind of faced off like a 90-degree angle like that, and then when it rotates, it's forcing that torque even more so. And so if you got the reverse spin, it would kind of counteract itself, is what you're saying.
Yeah, what it'll do is it'll bring the auger drive, the planetary, straight into the mast where it can't continue to rotate instead of rotating it away. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. That's innovative, man. That's problem solution, boom, right there.
Yeah,
there we go.
We've built several left-hand thread bits in the past, but this is kind of a specific use, little bit of a bit. So I think we've got it about dialed in.
Nice. All right. Well, Luke, tell us your story on the fence industry, from how you got into it to where you are today. Because I know I'm curious. I'm sure some of our other viewers are curious as well.
Yeah, so I got started the same way that the majority of the ag fence world gets started. You need fence and generally can't afford it, which was definitely the case for me. So basically, as a 16-year-old, I'd fixed fence with my granddad a little bit. Had built a little bit of fence with my dad, nothing major. But had to build a little bit of my own fence, as kind of a late teen, and then got paid for the first fence that I built when I was 16. And then that just kind of snowballed from there. Once I borrowed a post driver from a neighbor to build my own fence, and that was a roping pen that I needed to build. So I built my roping arena, and then that neighbor that I borrowed the post driver from wanted me to build some fence for him, and he even paid me, even though he'd let me use his post driver, and it just went from there. 2005 is when basically I stopped doing everything else that I'd ever done and only built fence up to that
2005 point. You said?
Yeah, since 05. So we'll be coming in our 20th year of nothing but fence. But
wow, that's impressive, man. That is, I tell you, that is a long time, man. Major kudos. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, the contract.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's where we started was with the contracting, and we still do a little bit. We don't do as much as we used to. We don't run a bunch of crews. I'm just one crew, and that's just to keep hands on. So we're obviously in the equipment manufacturing, and you don't get any good ideas if you're not out there using the equipment. And we also manufacture wire, so it's important to keep a hand on the products that you're turning out to make sure that they're good. So that's why we stay involved in the fence construction part of it. And it's also, I mean, that's our roots. And so fence contractors that's the soft spot that we've got. So the people that we feel like should be looked after on the quality side and on the support side, who often get overlooked, that's who we focus our business on.
That is
Nice.
awesome. I really like that. That's what, let me, can I don't want to, I know we have a list of questions, but I don't want to spin too far off that. What, how many, obviously before you guys got into the manufacturing stages, got into that side of things, how many crews did you guys run up to that point? And what, did you guys end up phasing them back down to just having one, or was it, did you always just had one?
The most guys I ever had,
Sorry.
and it would vary on what jobs that they were on, and sometimes everybody was in the same place at the same time. But the most I ever had, on the fence line was 8 and me. So
8
9
crews.
total.
Okay. Oh, okay. Nine guys. Gotcha.
9 guys, and that would have been a maximum of 3 crews, and we weren't doing a very good job at anything. I didn't feel like. And I still feel like that a lot of days, but I'm a really quality-oriented person, and it frustrates me when we can't keep it to that quality. So we take,
Right.
We're lucky that we get to pick and choose what we do, and to be quite frank, it's higher paying fence than just going out there and smashing some fence out. So.
Right. So did you find it harder to keep the quality up as you had 9 guys? Is that
it's a lot more difficult.
Right.
And I, as I get older and closer to retirement, it's important to build a business that you can do something with. But it's still very difficult for me to turn loose of that quality control.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything that we do, it frustrates me.
You kind of wish you could do it all still, right?
I do. I really wish that I'd had more time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
big. I think it's the biggest fight we all have is just that we wish there was more time, that we could do more stuff. It's like how much sleep can you sacrifice? How much family time can you sacrifice? Like, what is it going to cost?
That's getting more important. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm knocking on the back door of 50. So
Yeah.
getting really close, but
We're knocking on the back door of 40.
Yeah.
to start taking care of yourself better now, because it's easier. It's definitely easier when you're coming on to 40 than it is when you're coming into 50. But
I'm
sleep
so
is one of
scared.
those things that's non-negotiable for me. So I'm gonna get 8 hours of sleep. And
8 hours? What does 8 hours look like? I haven't seen 8 hours in forever.
I didn't for years. I would run on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and
Yep.
I got fat and didn't feel good, and my neck always hurt, and my back always hurt, and this didn't feel good. It wasn't healthy.
I'm so scared for what my body is going to feel like, as I continue to age and get older. Like I got a metal rods in my left leg last year, at the end earlier in the year, and it's like now I'm having to get like different. Me and Billy were talking about this earlier. Like now I'm having to get like inserts in my shoes to try to keep my legs back, the same size and balance. And I tell you, man,
They made your leg a quarter inch too long.
Yeah, I think they made my leg about a quarter inch too long, and so now I'm having to wear just different size shoes, and it's like, man, it's like all the dumb pains associated with that. I'm scared to see it in another 10, 15 years whenever I'm 45 and 50 years old. It's like, holy shit, I gotta figure this out now.
Yeah, man.
Spending a little bit of time and money on yourself now is going to make that more comfortable in the future. So that's, I feel better now than I have in, I'm not going to say forever, but in the last 20 years, I definitely feel better today than I have in the last 20 years. But
That's awesome, man. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
I hope you. Be careful what you wish for.
Man. because I hear from a lot of like the guys like right around your age, and they're telling me, they're like, the jump from 25 to 35 was the hardest thing I ever thought I would have to do. But the jump from 35 to 45 like makes that look like child's play. And like, I keep hearing this from numerous people.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It does, but there's a lot of. I've told a lot of young guys, they're struggling in their 20s. Things get easier when you turn 30 than they are when you're 22, and then when you turn 40, things are easier than they were when you were 35. And I'm not 50 yet, but I'm close. When you get 50, it's easier than it was when it was 40, and that's from a business standpoint. It's just easier to make money, and everybody, especially when you're young, you're just terrified to fail. And my wife and I were talking just a week or two ago. It would be kind of refreshing to just totally fail at everything all at the same time, and just be able to go start over, because it'd be easy,
right,
to start over with nothing. You could get rid of all the mistakes that you'd made, and you could, whatever you were going to do, you could just do it with the information that you had, and it would be so much easier. Scaling to 1 million is just a piece of cake if you've done it before. Right.
What? Well, let me ask you this, and this actually comes from like one of the TikTok interviewer guys I watch. What would you say was one of your hardest obstacles coming, as you've grown into entrepreneurship yourself? What do you say was some of the hardest things you've had to come across?
Just learning how to quote jobs, as far as learning how to make money. It's easy to make money. I guess learning how to make enough money that you keep some. Was telling a guy this morning, and after he told me about 15 things that you couldn't do in the fence world that I do every day, and he said that you couldn't, there's no way to make money doing that. And that's exactly how we operate. And here we're, still here. But I told him, it's when you figure out how to be efficient enough, and your quoting job's good enough, and you're busy enough, and you've got a good enough reputation, and all that kind of comes together. And you actually have enough money at the end of the month that you can, like the first time that you can afford to take your family on a vacation, or you can do something, nice, or you can buy a boat, or and so we'd hawked everything in. I mean, I always had as a kid. Every time that I made some money, I rolled it into the next thing. And so we had done pretty good, but we didn't have any money. Had a little farm, decent little house, shop to work out of, those things, but nothing. There was no extra. And had a long timer quit, Josh Pittman, and he walked the same speed as me, and he ate the same speed as me, and he just was good help. He rarely tore anything up. He had a few too many DUIs, but the best year of help he ever was. He was on work release. He wanted to work 7 days a week and was sober. So it was pretty awesome. But he quit, and I didn't have any help. And I built the first track machine, our first track machine. I didn't invent the track machines, but I built our first track machine out of it was a Yanmar C50R, giant machine. And it was a Bryce Suma that we put on it. Machine weighed like 19,000 pounds. I've told the story 1,000 times. It took 56 days to pay for it. And once that was paid, so I was making an extra $1,000 a day, basically. Over what I had been making. And when that was all done and paid for, shortly after that, we bought a boat. It was the first fun thing that we did as a family. So that was the thing that changed life for us, was a track machine, and it continues to change our life. So
nice. That's awesome, man. That's an incredible story, sir. That's awesome, man. I know we strayed so far from our topics, but I'm so glad we did, man. That's the kind of stuff that everybody needs to hear. That's the determination, the grinding, that's figuring it out, and that's awesome. You changed the course of it, and you kept going. It's admirable, man.
Yeah, I told my wife
into number 2. So
After
It
fencing
does.
by myself with kind of some worse equipment several days in a row, I came home and I'm building a post driver or I'm quitting. And she said, well, you better build a post driver then because you're not quitting. So
That's awesome,
That's funny.
man. That's awesome. Go for it, Billy. Seconds away into the next one.
All right. So as you just said, you built your first like tracked like machine. I'm curious, and I know that a lot more people are curious about these tracked pounders and how you guys are manufacturing them, and just basically, I mean, like we just heard the actual story of how you started manufacturing, but how did that become a real business besides something that you needed in your day-to-day life?
well, it's a really see a need, fill a need, and there was definitely a need. We built our first couple of those, and they worked, but they weren't very refined. And then got with ProTech Machinery in England, and their engineer Steve Craddock. It's like he can take. I can draw a little bit on CAD, but I can send him just a sketch on the backside of a beer box, and it comes out a machine at the other end. Like I just give him my list of things that I want, and well, it would be if it could do this, and he's got all these brilliant ideas as he goes. So we formed a partnership, and Andy Hooper, the other founder of ProTech, handles mostly the tractor mount post drivers and sales and service, and then Steve is the kind of the track machine side, and of course they've got lots of guys in the factory there. And so it got to where we had exceeded the capacity that they could help us with, and so we kind of hatched a plan to form ProTech USA, where we build the P240, which is a skid steer mount driver. We built that entirely there in Indiana, and then the FP150. If you've seen the little one that goes on the MT100 skid steers, we built that entirely in house. The only thing that gets done outside our walls on that one is the powder coat.
Okay, I have not seen that one yet. Hold on, I need to know more about this. Have I?
Yeah, you have. It's the one that we used it in, like in Evansville, that he sent to Sean.
The yellow one?
That one was on tracks. We put that on.
That one, yeah. But he's talking about he's got one that mounts on the MT100. We have an MT100.
That same driver we build on it's a quick attach plate for an MT100.
Yeah. It's the FP150, right?
FP150. Yeah.
Oh man, I have not. I guess I know the one we've seen at Sean's. Yeah, but I guess I've not. That has not came across my Facebook feed. I have not seen that.
Yeah. We need to do a better job of it, but we're selling them just about as fast as we can build them. That's one of those that's cheap enough. I was talking to Ryan Sloop yesterday, and we've always had a frustration with especially the residential side, to get residential fencers mechanized. You see these pictures of 8 guys on a ladder hanging off a Rhino driver, and you just think, man, there's a way better way to do this. But that little driver that we make for the MT, I mean, it's only $16,000 for now. It may go up if steel keeps climbing, but it doesn't take just a couple of good jobs to pay for it, especially if you get into some bigger stuff. But fits in the backyard, it's fast. Nobody's worn out. That was the biggest thing. The biggest thing when I started to mechanize was just how much of a better mood I was in at the end of the day, and how less fatigued I was. Right. You can get more done and be less fatigued with equipment. So that's the big motivator for me when we're coming up with new pieces of equipment or new track machines. The 220B, that was kind of my baby. That's the big one it's got the skid steer quick attach loader on the front. It's all remote control. It's got 220 degrees of slew. Gets on a 16-foot post with the standard mast, 20-foot with the tall mast.
Wow,
Dual
that
telescopic track.
is beyond cool.
Yeah, so it's just
Yeah,
in a
it's cool.
static position. It's 7 foot wide, and then you spread the tracks out, and it's 11 foot wide. So it'll operate on a 49.5 degree side slope. So solving lots of problems with those machines, and that's kind of like what fuels me. Like I look forward to really difficult jobs, tight access and steep terrain and nasty rocks, and the worse it is, the better. That's where you really get the good ideas for the good equipment.
Yeah, right. I know. I can tell you what, man. Billy and I, we have been in some stupid situations driving post. Absolutely. I'm talking like if you're just like exactly what you're saying, like being on top of a ladder. I'm talking like the 12-foot postmasters building a custom 8-foot tall fence, or that 8+1 we did, or that 6+1 we did, and like we're on doing a 12-foot postmaster post, holding a gas powered Rhino, 15 feet in the air. I had 1 foot on the roof, and we're driving this thing. So
Yeah.
I remember you say that, man. I hear you. That's you're talking my language, because Billy and I have been 100% no dig for going on 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, and it's like, oh man, that what you're talking about is like a lot of the problems that people like Billy and I have.
Yeah, and the more of those you can eliminate, like the
It's
last
safety
job
stuff as well.
The last job that I quoted was 77 truckloads, semi-truckloads of 12-foot posts. So obviously we need some machinery to handle that. But that's like the bulk of what we get into anymore is the solar on the solar side of things. So it's all, they're all big, they're all long, and to do that any other way would just be awful.
Absolutely. Oh man, absolutely. That'd be exhausting.
Sure, that would be an ocean nightmare in a solar field.
Oh,
yeah, and it's the OSHA. I guess that's the way that our machines are designed.
Yeah, right, Chris.
They're not ride-on, so there are fewer certifications to be compliant, and also you do not have to. Like most of the jobs, especially you get up into New York and then East Coast, you're dealing with unions, and you're not going to get away from it, and you're gonna use their union operators. And so if you're running a skid steer with a post driver on it, you got to get some Hanyak from the local operators union that's never built any fence, and he's got no intuition of how that skid steer needs to be operated to help the guy driving posts. So you just eliminate that because it's a ground operated machine and you don't have to have an operator anymore. So you can run into that on commercial work too, especially non-union fence contractors.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely makes a lot of sense.
Man, oh man, oh man. The knowledge, like just that's cool. That's, man, I drive past solar farms all the time, and it's just like one of those, like, I've never bid anything that big, you know what I mean? And that really kind of goes into the next question that we want to ask you. Oh, my AirPod just fell out. Sorry, hold on, give me a second. Can y'all still hear me? We good?
All right. Well, I'm gonna get into some. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna get into some comments real fast.
Absolutely.
We got JC Gary in the house. Hey guys. We got Michaela Patterson in the house. Hey Michaela. Luke. God Lord, I'm dyslexic tonight. Chris Steele says Luke has saved my ass more than once. Good people.
What's up, Chris?
Chris, I saw you texting earlier, buddy. I'll text you back in a little bit.
We got Alexis Behringer in the house. Orlando Hinge Company. Awesome hinge company, guys, by the way.
Or hey, I just sold another uphill swing hinge for a vinyl. I just sold another one. I already ordered it. I got it in stock, but I've got one sold for a job coming up in a couple weeks.
Heck yeah, man. They work like a charm, I'll tell you what. We got Mr. Mike Levy in the house. Get those echocardiograms, going back to taking care of yourself. Yeah. Thank you. I should probably go visit a doctor sometime soon. Haven't been in a while. Mr. Robert Evers.
Do that just to get a new life insurance policy every couple of years.
There you go.
Make sure it's big enough they want to have all that information.
All right. All
There
right.
you go.
All right.
Let's see here.
All right. I didn't mean to. Well, you were picking up your AirPod. Okay, that's what I was doing.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
We got
I just
Cannon
didn't...
Johnson in the house. I'm sorry, one more. Cannon Johnson says,
there he is.
What's up, Cannon?
Good.
There it is.
And then you can go ahead.
Right. Oh, nothing. I was just going to say, you going or am I going? I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Don't forget. Absolutely. Hey, guys, everybody, don't forget to go check out one of our newest sponsors, the Fence and Deck Agency's Facebook page. And also, do not forget that with everybody who gets a website built by them, you mention us, you'll receive 2 free months of SEO service with your new website. So that's the Fence and Deck Agency. Hop on their Facebook page. We'll put a tag in it in a little bit. But check them out. Absolutely. But moving on into another question I wanted to go in. We was talking about bidding solar farms and stuff like that. We're really we're still in the residential game. We're 100% drive post, but we're really just all about in the residential market. What are some tips and tricks that you might have for smaller residential guys like us that could make us better? And maybe to where we can graduate into the big leagues of like doing, $500,000 solar farms or, whatever this crazy things go for.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big jump to go from residential work to commercial work. But I would baby step it, just start with some smaller commercial stuff. And most of what we do is sub work on the solar stuff. A lot of times it's just the post driving.
Right.
So that would be my advice: is don't get in over your head. $500,000 jobs are great, but only if you've got them bid right. And that's a competitive world. And $500,000 fence around a solar field is going to be one of the smaller ones. And there's a lot of those can get, into the several million range. And so if you're off by 10%, or if you're off by 2% even, it's a disaster.
Oh, I can imagine even that. And then variable changes, change orders. And we've dabbled a little bit in commercial work. And I tell you what, man, just trying to go back and forth with them people, on a lot of this stuff. And then their timelines on stuff. I remember trying to do commercial work during COVID when no prices were the same from week to week, month to month. The prices were changing daily. And it was so hard trying to bid commercial work because you bid something and then, it was not the same price 10 days later and you weren't getting a check for another 2 months. Or a month, or it was a pain in the ass. That was such a hard time trying to jump into commercial work during COVID.
We could lock the material costs in just by paying for them. And with that the last one that I bid with posts, rails, and wire, they're bidding close to 150 semi-loads of material in it.
Wow.
But that even to get that many posts on it, they're all wood posts. So to get that many posts, that's over the course of a year. So that's
okay.
It's a massive amount of fence, but so that's over the course of a year. But if trucking, say flatbed rates went from whatever they are now, $3.75 a mile, back to like COVID rates, $7 a mile.
Right.
You're talking $1 million in trucking that you hadn't planned on.
That's a big loss.
That's huge. Yeah, that's all the profit. So, learning how to mitigate that risk and knowing that you might have to saddle a Peterbilt and drive a truck 2 nights a week.
Right. I was just thinking. I was just thinking. That's like, okay, how can we fix this? All right, am I going to send somebody to CDL school for 3 weeks and then just like lease a truck? Like, I'm over here trying to scenario. Like, that was my problem. How would I fix that? If that came up to where it was, holy crap, like, fuel prices just jumped. How are we gonna get our stuff? Because there's been plenty of times where we we just messed up a order on delivery because we have a master Halico, 45 minutes to an hour down the road from us. And, that's an hour trip there, an hour to get loaded, hour trip back. But there's been plenty of times where it's like, oh, the email didn't send, or just something happened. It's like, shit, got to go to Mobile. And it's like, that's just, I'm still over here trying to figure out, like, with that, it's like, man, imagine if those prices jumped that high virtually overnight again, and what you would have to do to problem solve to figure out to where you didn't just lose $1 million on that. And that's where my brain was. Yeah.
I don't have the option to lose $1 million, so I'd have to figure something out.
That's a lot of money.
That is mighty. That is mighty.
That is like bankruptcy terms right there. Like $1 million.
It'd be tough to overcome, but yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I want to come shadow you for like a week. Man, that just sounds awesome.
You'd be so frustrated. Yeah, you would be awesome, frustrated.
Man. That was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, Billy, you go for it, man. Last man, lead us in.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and pay some bills, do a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Oh, absolutely.
National Metal Industries, a family-owned business for 70-plus years, has grown to be recognized for their ability to deliver on not just privacy slats for fence, but all types of fence products. National Metal Industries has all the hardware and tools to get the fence professional in and out of their job with the most ease possible. You can count on National Metal Industries for the most convenient resources in fence products. Visit nmifence.com for more information. As we like to say, you can always pick it right at National. Welcome to the Fence and Deck Agency, where we build fencing websites that homeowners and contractors love. We specialize in winning the trust of homeowners, and we do this by positioning you as the fencing experts in your service areas. We follow our proven framework, which we've branded as the ultimate fence and deck website blueprint, where we get homeowners to like, know, and trust you. Teaming up with the Fence and Deck Agency will help you dominate your local market, and we'll build a website you'll be proud of. The link to get started is in the podcast description.
Right, there we go.
Outstanding. I love it every time.
Real quick, guys, don't forget to go check the podcast description like below for the Fence and Deck Agency's website. Also, go check out Mr. Z Sean's Facebook page, and that will also get you to their website. And if you do hire them to do a website build, it comes with 2 months free of SEO service, which is an awesome deal in my opinion. But go check it out. Link is in the description below.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Corey, don't drop your mic.
No, I'm not. It's on the cool stand right here. I don't even have to touch it. I don't even have to hold it. So
I think it's expensive. Don't drop that.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Mr. This is something that so in a lot of my estimates when I'm talking to clients, you know what I mean? I'm telling these people that, this is the fencing of the future. The driven post system is the fencing of the future. This is how things are going to be. I'm telling them in like 5 to 10 years. Would you say that is too far of a stretch to tell these people that, that before everything is 100% driven, when do you think that's going to be?
If I'm involved, it was started about 30 years ago.
Right on.
We still obviously have to drill some rock, but then, I mean, if we're drilling solid solid rock like ledge or limestone, sandstone, and we're just kicking the hole full of the spoil and driving a post in it. If it's a steel post, if it's a wood post, we're just gonna, drill about the same size and then drive it in. I see value in, like, on the competition side of things. We do a lot of fence competitions, and I see value in doing those by hand and digging holes, because it makes you learn how to build a fence. But as far as a driven post, as the way forward, I've always seen it as the only way. It's the strongest way. The only reason to use concrete is it's cheap. And it's concrete, which is not necessarily cheap to buy the concrete. I mean, I priced some the other day, $180 a yard. I think the first concrete I paid for was $18 a yard. But where it is cheap is it falls in the hole and you don't have to do anything with it. If you're like mud out of a truck. Now, if you got to mix it or you're dry packing it, or, whoever wants to get in a sword fight with that, go for it. Fine.
Nope, not here.
I'll be over here driving my posts. You do whatever you
There
want.
it is.
But concrete falls in the hole and it sets up, and you don't have to tamp anything. Doesn't lend any strength to the fence. It doesn't make it better. All you're doing is plugging the hole where you disturb the dirt. Well, if you never disturb it and you drive a post in there, I don't see where we're losing.
Right.
We'll always drive more posts than most people would dig in. On the ag side of things, take a 2096-6 game fence. If we've got a bottom line and a top line with it, that's 22 line wires. I'd have to do some fast math here, but you're somewhere in the 11,000 pound force on the brace range, and we do not dig those posts in and pour concrete around them, and they don't fall over. So you got 11,000 pounds hucking on this thing nonstop all the time, and it doesn't go anywhere. And you guys are talking about wind load and whatnot in the residential world, and it's a moot point. It's just totally doesn't even matter. If you put a post in the ground that's strong enough to take the wind load, and you've got it driven to refusal where it's in some good solid ground, I don't understand what the discussion's about. I never have.
Yeah. Same.
Well, let me ask you. Let me spin into that. On the residential side, we install a couple different methods. We have driven, the galvanized pipe and using the wood, the metal to wood brackets. Okay, the adapter brackets. We've done that method. We have put the Postmaster method, where we drive the Postmasters, and they come with their lifetime warranty up to 76 miles an hour or 74 miles an hour, wherever that is. Billy and I we've gotten back into doing a lot of the Kings Plus method and stuff like that, where you're driving galvanized Schedule 40, about 4.5 feet down. What would you say is probably one of the better, stronger methods that's not necessarily in the agricultural world, where it's under tension, tension wire, but what would you say for basically whenever you're fixing to build a wood privacy fence, on the residential side, what would you say is one of the best ways to do it?
Well, everywhere else in the world, you're still going to use a wood post, but you drive it. It's not a 4x4. It would be true what they call 6x4. But we call it a 4x6, but it's a true. It's not, it's not 3x5.
Right.
Is a pretty standard post, or 6x6. But the world around, with the exception of America, these smaller machines will fit right into every backyard. There's no fence in the way because you're there to build it. So if you can walk to most of these jobs, I can track a machine in there. We've got one that's 4 foot wide that'll handle a 12-foot post, and it's got a hydraulic post rotator on it, and we've got profile punches. So the profile of that post, we've got a punch that we can drive in the ground, and we can index that to keep that hole square and straight and plumb. And then we pull that punch out, and that gives us our starter hole for the post to keep it from twisting. But there's a hydraulic post rotator at the base of that mast, and we just drive the post in right to where we need it. So we can still use a wooden post. I love pipe every chance I get to drive pipe. I mean, they're all straight and they don't crack and they drive easy. But you can still use a wood post.
How deep are you driving the wood post down?
Well, that would depend on the frost is the biggest thing. And then the second thing you got to keep in mind when you're driving post, if you need some strength out of them, you got to get some refusal. So if you're driving even for a let's say you're using donuts and putting a vinyl fence up, and you drive your post in there. What are you guys usually putting in the ground? A couple foot probably.
About 4.
4 foot in the ground. So if you
Yeah.
put 4, starting with an 8-footer, then putting 4 foot in the ground.
Yeah.
And if you got that 4 foot in the ground and she's still sinking pretty fast, you need a longer post.
Right.
So you need some refusal at the base of that post. There's 2 places on a fence post you got to stop it from moving, and it's right at ground level, and it's at the bottom of that post. So if you can stop it from moving those 2 places, and with a pipe post, if it's in the hard ground at the bottom, it's not going to move at the top.
Makes sense.
Understood.
Makes absolute sense. So, that's
enlightening.
We've all seen, and it's kind of like the end part of this question. The driven post game has taken the residential side by a complete storm in the last 2 years. I was all about it the minute I heard about it. There's still a lot of flack being given around it, especially around the residential side of the market, obviously, because you ag guys are a whole lot smarter than us, have been doing it for 30 years. But what would you say, kind of like, how long do you think that it'll take for everybody to get on this train and to, start really moving forward and stop thinking that concrete is the only way to actually go for building a residential fence day in and day out?
I don't think it'll ever happen.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it'll. I think that we're not to the, we're not to critical mass yet. Where the majority of the people that are going to do it are doing it. I think people will continue to come online, but there's still going to be, situations where it's difficult. You see a lot of that Victor Vasquez is dealing with out there in the Salt Lake area.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got solutions for that kind of ground too, but they've got a lot of stones, so it's not solid rock that they're dealing with. It's just a bunch of stones. It's just that glacial till. So we use a rock spike in that situation. You punch it down, and you're just squeezing all those rocks to the side of the hole, and then that gives you a place to get your post in. But it's
very cool.
Yeah, it's common. The rest of the world around, you get into, they call it pinching a hole in Scotland. I mean, you would use a pinch bar if you're driving post by hand, which happens a lot in the hills, but you pinch it with a spud bar, like a sharp steel bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You pinch a hole where you get the rocks away from the center of it, and then all the posts would be pointed in stony ground like that. So in clay ground or good topsoil or loam, you want a flat bottom post so that it drives straight down. But if you're in stones, you need a pointed post because
so it'll
stone
push
catches
stone
split the post. Yeah.
That is awesome, man. That is fantastic. That's cool.
Now I know why I see some of the round posts pointed and some of them not, man.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest,
it's
man.
regional. Yeah.
Yeah, because like AG Fent is like speaking French to me, or Spanish or Deutsch. Like it looks really pretty to me, but I wouldn't tell anybody that I know anything about it. I wouldn't ever go try to get a job to go like build an AG fence just because that's way out of my league. But yeah, man. So that's
come to the Fall Fence Forum. That's a great place to. Well, you guys could do a dozen episodes there with the crowd that'll be around.
You know what?
I had to learn a little bit about it, get your hands on it, and we're going to do a day of driving every discipline. So
I would be down like 4 flat tires. When is that?
October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then we've got on the 1st and 2nd will kind of be a bonus. On the first, we're gonna run any of the young guys that have never competed before. Gonna run them through an entire practice fence, and then on the second, which is Wednesday, we will have both of the hand competitions. So the singles and doubles hand competition. So that's all. You got to dig holes and set posts, and then the actual forum would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Look, as long as I'm
So
home by
then
the 13th, that's
is-
my wedding anniversary. I'm down like 4 flat tires. That sounds like a good time.
Hey, my
So then-
wife's birthday is the 5th, so this is every year is her birthday party. And Cadillac
So then
Scott
is this
Parker, he
more-
played my high school graduation and our wedding and my parents' 50th anniversary, but he's coming, so we got the blues band coming.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds like fun.
It's gonna be a party.
Let's do it.
Is
I'm in.
Is it more of a competition or is it more of a training thing? Because it sounds like it's more of a competition.
No, we have the competitions, but that gives kind of something to talk about.
Okay. All right.
I think I see a lot. Everybody's scared to compete. You shouldn't be. The sooner you get entered and the sooner that you get in there doing it, the better fencer you're going to be. And it's like you get to talk to people different. If let's say there's 15 contractors that have entered in the fence competitions. Well, and there's a club. The 15 of you are a little bit different than the rest of the crowd. So I think it's important to enter the competitions if you're an ag fencer. I think it's good for your business. I think it's good for your confidence, and your first time is going to be usually pretty tough, but it keeps getting easier. But no, it's not all competition. So we have it would be Thursday and Saturday. Those days are chock full of best practice. So hands-on, everybody in the field, learning everything from how to properly put in a swinging foot, to anchor a dip post or to stop a strainer from popping, things like that. And then we'll do some intensive brace building. So different styles of bracing and how you would use it in different kinds of ground. Then we're going to have driving posts for every discipline. So, vinyl, privacy fence, chain link, ag fence, all that we're going to have. And anybody that's got something to offer, this is an interactive. So it's we've got a rule. You see it, you do it, you teach it. And if you know something that somebody else doesn't know, then you got to get in there and show them.
I think, man, we could really help. We could shine on the residential side. That's all we've done for a year and a half. That's how we paid them. We went all in. We gambled. We went all in on the driven game. Might have been a dumb move and not just phasing it in, but you know what? We figured it out. And I tell you what, man,
we might make you use our post drivers though.
Let's do it. I'm down. I'll compete. I'll compete in the ag ones. Just tell me what to do, and I'll send it the best I can.
Hey, if you come
Hey,
early,
man, if we can use the FP 150 on tracks, I'm down with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one there.
All right.
Ready to go.
Hey,
so.
did Sean send you the video of him driving a steel post with the FP 150 through an old 4x4 through the old slug and then down into the ground?
No, but we've driven them through white oak tree stumps. So
that's so cool, man. I mean, I'm sure
I wish we would have known that today.
Like
we thought that was cool.
Yeah, man. Like I'm sure you would have been like, oh yeah, whatever. But like that was the first time I've ever seen that because we got the bull now, and it'll drive through some concrete, but like you hit a big enough root and it's done. Like it is game over. And we didn't pull that plug against the house. And there we go. There is Mr. Destin Beckworth who actually did it with Sean.
Yeah, there he is.
They legit put, and like I think it's like super cool, but they put that like 2 3/8 like round pipe right in the middle of that old 4x4, drove it through the concrete slug. And man, I was impressed. I was like,
think how much easier your tear out would be. All you need is a chainsaw.
You're right.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. You're over here, you're selling me on because we have an MT100, like we have one.
Oh, there's Betty sent me a picture today. He just finished one, so there's an FP 150 there ready to go. Sent you an invoice.
Yeah, well, what do I got to get rid of? No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome, man. That is real. That is neat as shit. That
Heck yeah.
that's
Back to the forum. Tony Thornton is always there, and inevitably we'll get a few hours of rain. That's when he'll kind of kick in and do. It's a really abbreviated fence business school, but he hits the high points, and it's what the guys need to hear. How to run a little bit better business.
he is such a knowledgeable man. I've reached to him many. I actually remember I first spoke to him whenever he was working for the AFA originally back then, and man, he is a plethora of knowledge. That guy.
He's definitely helped my fencing career, but he's made me a better father and a better husband and a better man. So,
man, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
If you have a relationship with
really
Tony,
awesome.
it's always deeper than a fence, which is something I really appreciate about him. And he helps with along those lines. It's we have when the fencing's over at the forum, we've got, if you drink beer, then there's every kind of beer you can imagine. If you don't drink beer, then we've got every soft drink you can imagine. And there's nobody's going to force you to drink. You probably won't see me drinking. But after it's over, we've got several fire pits every evening. And usually the fire pits are still burning when I get back there at 4:35.
Is that what this comment is about right here? He said, "Do the guitars still come out after midnight?"
The guitars definitely will come out. There,
I'm gonna be. I will absolutely be there. I want to come. That sounds like a good time.
We've got a good friend of mine, Logan Corbett. He's with Champion Living Fitness. He comes and he's just there to help kind of motivate a little bit, but he's a personal trainer is what he does. But he can help anybody that's got questions about that. Like, my back's been bothering me. What can I do? And he's not there to solicit business. He'll take it if you want to hire him. But he's there to help with that kind of thing, your physical well-being. And then I've got a friend, Craig Wiggins, that comes from New Zealand, and he's got a charitable foundation called Whatever with Wiggy, and it led to during COVID, lean on a gate, talk to a mate, and it's especially in the rural sector, suicide is insanely high. Most of the guys that build fence also run some cows and make some hay and have the stress of a farm. Just almost all of them. Very, very few guys in the ag fence world that don't have that also on
That's
the plate.
wild.
So having that, looks like Robert Evers is going to bring his guitar. We'll plug him in.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, buddy. I'm down with that. Somebody bring a
So
drum
it's
set.
more of a we definitely, there's some fence instruction, but it's your most valuable weapon at the forum is your phone. So you got to get your phone out, and you're gonna walk away with 50 new contacts that you've never talked to before that are gonna be better at something than you are.
Absolutely. That is the name
yes.
of the game. That is how all of these like training events, that is what captures my attention, is the after hours and everything like that, man. Once all the instruction's done is when everybody really starts learning real stuff.
Yeah.
And you really start taking people's brains. And if you're like me, after about a couple hours, you'll find somebody and you're like, once we're done with the training, I'm going straight to him and I'm asking this, and this. And I've found that I've been to multiple trainings and I always can pick out one person at the training that I'm like, when we're done, I'm going to go talk to him. And so, that's where I've picked up a lot of the back end knowledge from like going to these training events. Is just networking, man. Networking, being able to call somebody that lives hours away and saying, hey man, you deal with this every single day, this is our first time running into it, what do I do?
Yep.
and they're able to just walk you through it because they do it every single day, and you're like, man, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I think of that? And you're like, well, we don't do it every day, so that's why we didn't think about it. But I mean, like, networking at these events is the like biggest thing. And guys, even if you're not a social person, because I've become a social person over the last year and a half, 2 years. Thank you, my
Yeah,
wife.
you have.
Thank you to my wife for breaking me out of my shell. But like I said just a couple minutes ago, even if you're not a huge social person and you don't want to talk to a whole bunch, pick one person that you want to go talk to after the instruction's done, and just go pick their brain about it, man. Because a great story that I always like to really like highlight is my first AFA training. Yeah, man, it was great. And I knew about 90% of the knowledge of the disciplines there. I mean, I hate to say it, but I was just going to go get my certificate. But Kevin Nielsen, he was the instructor.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately that whenever we all went out to dinner that night at Chili's or at Hooters, wherever the hell we
Hooters.
went.
It was Hooters.
It was
Hooters we went to. Yeah.
I was like, I am pulling him aside and I'm talking to him. And lo and behold,
we did. Our tables were side by side. We bullshitted the whole night.
Bro, lo and behold, that's how I learned how to use the Bobcat to dig in a residential, extremely nice maintained yard without making ruts or anything. And he was like, no, you just do this, and this, and then this, and this, and you're good to go. And I was like, man, why didn't I ever think about that? I was like, what you're saying is just like, I just feel dumb now. But
right.
Once he like explained it to me, and I was like, dude, this is awesome, man. So, again, I don't want to take too much off of, your stuff about that. But guys, just go pick out somebody that you want to talk to and ask away. Ask the question.
Yeah.
That's super important. And like at the forum, there'll be, little pockets of people, and sometimes off in a corner, just two guys. And there's tables. We've got tables set up everywhere, and all the doors are open. So you can get it. Our entire shop is open. Our entire warehouse is open. Our entire office is open.
That's cool.
Everybody's got access to everything. We don't cut anything off. You can see it all.
And like, what are the dates for that again?
October 3rd, 4th, and 5th are the official dates, and then
but the 1st and 2nd are the bonus days.
1st and 2nd are bonus days. Yeah, we've got some golden pliers and silver spades champions from New Zealand coming over to help get guys dialed in on that on the competition stuff.
Oh, dude, and they are no joke, man. I watched some of the YouTube videos on them, and I'm like, I would never. You couldn't pay me to compete with them boys. I was like, they would just make me look like a little sissy out here, man.
It's another one of those that, like, I talked to a kid this morning, and he's entered a fence competition here in the States, and he's nervous about it. And I said, don't be. He's worried everybody's going to be a dick. And I started competing in New Zealand, and Wayne Newdick was the first partner that I had at a regional competition there. And Wayne is a 3-time Golden Pliers champion, and I think like 13 or 14 times Silver Spades champion, the doubles champion. He's 68 years old, but we went and fenced and got along pretty good. And obviously I'd have a hard time carrying his gear bag, but you got to start somewhere. And so I started there, and I entered the Golden Pliers and Silver Spades heats this year and did way better than I expected I would do. But that's fine. We've got a benchmark to work off of now, and we're going to do better next year.
That makes sense.
But if you don't ever get in there and you don't ever try it and you don't ever make an ass of yourself, then how do you ever get better at it? And that's it's never bothered me to get beat.
Yeah.
That's not whatever happened today is not the end of the game for me.
Right.
I got beat all day today, to be honest. I'm still
definitely taking some lickers, man. Definitely taking some whoopings.
Yeah. So there's no reason to shy away from that stuff. But yeah,
I'm down. I'll
they're
be
a
there.
different class of fencer.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
would love. I tell you, see, that's one of my biggest. That's talking about the training events, stuff like that. Is we went to one. We went to the one in Indiana probably 3 or 4 months after I broke my leg, and I went up there. And I told Billy, I was like, dude, I want to be the hardest working person there. Like, you will not see me stop. I will, you know what I mean? And that was like always one of my goals. Is I was like, I hate being outworked. You know what I mean? I can't stand to see somebody work and be to outwork me, especially whenever oh man, that'd be fun to do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you get the chance to come early for that practice day, Hugh Morrison, he's a Kiwi.
Well, like I said, as long as I'm home by the 13th, that's my first wedding anniversary. I'm good.
Well, that's on you, bub. Like,
you can't stay at our over.
I'm down. Well, he was like October, and I was like, oh no. No, I think that'd be a great time. I'm with it.
Yeah, but Hugh Morrison, right. I was like started to say, comes from New Zealand. He is a long timer with Strainwright Fencing Systems, so they send him over. And he's just a wealth of knowledge and a great teacher. It's what he did for 20 years. He was a tutor at an agricultural college in New Zealand and taught fencing and chainsawing and farming and sheep shearing and things like that. So he's just a wealth of knowledge and great, especially with beginners, people that haven't done maybe that particular task. He can dig a hole with a spade faster than I've ever seen anybody do it. Just an amazing teacher. So yeah, and we'll. That's what we make it. That whole event is like there's not. This is the instructor for this thing, and this is what you have to learn. We've got a pretty loose schedule. There's a little bit of a curriculum to follow, and we're going to do some pretty specific tasks. But as the day kind of goes on, the groups kind of split off, and everybody's helping everybody. And so the guys that maybe know a little bit more or caught on a little bit quicker can help the rest of the people get where they need to be. So.
Man, that's
awesome, man. Let's do it to it, man. I think it'd be a really, really great time to come do that. I've always wanted to learn the ag side of things, just to know it, just to be able to, we actually, every time we get called for it, we refer it out to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, call this guy. And it's like, so funny is that guy's booked out for 7 and 8 months. And it's like, okay, we need to back of the mind like that. We need to figure that out. Like, you know what I mean? That's
because he's the only ag fence company in like a 50-mile radius, and you have like 140 residential fence companies, 150.
Yeah, there's only one guy who's jumped into it now. There's 2 of them now.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I mean, like you got Cagle. Shout out Cagle. Like,
that's who I was talking about was Cagle. Yeah.
He's been kind of dipping his toes into it, but other than that, man, it is Schneider fencing if you want it, like an ag fence around here, and so that was always
I'm down
kind
to
of
go
like,
up there and learn.
Heck yeah, do it, man.
There's a lot to learn on the ag side that translates over into the residential side, like breast block and a gate post instead of using concrete. Simple things like that.
Outstanding. Well, my man, I do believe, Billy, we are getting close in our time. Actually, we are over our time, aren't we, my friend?
Yeah, man, we are right at the hour mark. So with that said, you got any closing remarks for us, Mr. Gibson?
No, I think we covered it all. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the knowledge. That was an absolutely outstanding interview. Thank you, sir.
It's gonna be awesome to get you guys set up doing something live at the Fall Fence Forum this year.
Heck yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. And guys, just a reminder, that is going to be the first week of October. And where is that again? We did not cover that part.
That's at our shop, Farm Fence Solutions in Worthington, Indiana.
All right, guys. Worthington, Indiana, first week of October. Be there or be square. Mr. Luke Gibson, I thank you so much for coming on like tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope to have you on again. And I hope to be in Indiana on the first week of October this upcoming year.
That sounds awesome, guys. Pleasure was all mine.
All right, man. Well, hey,
great answer. Thank you.
You have a wonderful rest of your night, okay?
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Thank you.
Good interview, man. I loved it, man. Learned just knowing that, like, he built that first track machine for his own personal use, and then it, flowered into what it is like today. That's pretty freaking cool, man. That's pretty freaking cool. Guys, like,
it always sucks in the beginning before it gets better, That's
and if you don't know, like, go look at the Evos, go look at the ProTechs. Awesome pieces of like machinery. If you're in the residential world, the FP150 is going to be great for you guys. If you're looking for a tracked unit. But other than that, guys, I'm hungry. I ate a light lunch. So, guys, we're going to get out of here, and we will see y'all next week. Don't forget, guys, go check out in the podcast description. Go hit the merch store. It is gatekeeperpodcast.com. Also, go check out the Fence and Deck Agency's website and go see my man Zishan's Facebook page and get you 2 free months of SEO service whenever you sign up for a website. Awesome stuff. They do awesome work. And y'all make sure you go and check out nmifence.com as well for all your fence tools, fence supplies, fence needs, materials. And guys, like we just said, for some training, if you want some residential training, Mr. Fence Academy, guys, hit up Mr. Fence Academy. They're doing trainings all over the U.S. And with that said, guys, we'll see y'all next Tuesday, 7:15-ish. This kind of happens.
Technical errors. Stuff happens sometimes. Billy, you have a good night, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. See y'all next. Thank you.
Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, guys. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.